2 minutes ago, the WNBA world was flipped completely upside down and fans everywhere are losing it. In a shocking turn of events, ticket prices for upcoming games have absolutely plummeted, crashing harder than anyone ever expected. And cause one name is on everyone's lips, Caitlin Clark. That's right. After what insiders are calling a sudden and messy fallout between the league and its brightest star, chaos has erupted across the country. Furious fans are demanding refunds, social media is flooded with outrage, and ticket resale platforms are practically on fire as prices freefall faster than a broken elevator. What was supposed to be the most anticipated WNBA season in years is now spiraling into complete disarray. Eyewitnesses at a packed arena in Indiana reported mass walkouts just minutes before tip-off, with fans chanting, "We want Caitlin," over and over as stunned players stood in disbelief. "I paid $400 for courtside," one fan ranted in a viral clip, "and y'all think I'm staying if Caitlin ain't even playing." That video alone got over 2 million views in under an hour. Stadiums that were once sold out for weeks are now half empty. Merch is being returned. Energy is at an all-time low. The league is scrambling. Insiders say the root of the drama involves a heated confrontation behind the scenes where Caitlin allegedly felt undermined and disrespected. While no official statement has been made, the silence is loud and fans aren't waiting around for answers. They're demanding justice, demanding refunds, and demanding the return of the one player they say made the league worth watching. The tension is thick, the betrayal feels personal, and what's happening behind closed doors might be even more explosive than what we've seen. So what happened to Caitlin Clark? Why are fans turning against the WNBA, and how did everything go from celebration to chaos in just 2 minutes flat? Let's dive in. It was supposed to be the golden era of the WNBA, a new chapter, a renaissance, a revolution fueled by one name, Caitlin Clark. From college phenom to pro league prodigy, she wasn't just a player, she was the promise of sold-out arenas, re-energized fan bases, and a financial revival. But in a plot twist that no one could have seen coming, the dream shattered in real time. And the fallout, pure, unfiltered chaos. Just days ago, stadiums were bursting at the seams, tickets were selling at Super Bowl prices, and kids clutching Caitlin jerseys like gold, but now fans are turning in their tickets. Refund lines stretch around the block, and the WNBA, once booming from Caitlin's momentum, is facing a backlash so fierce it's threatening to undo everything they built in one off-season. It all started with a subtle shift. Caitlin, normally all smiles and media-ready charm, began showing signs of wear. She skipped a post-game press conference, then another. She wasn't engaging with teammates on the court like she used to. And then, whispers began leaking something had happened behind closed doors, a team meeting, a locker room blow-up. Whatever it was, insiders say it rocked the very foundation of the Indiana Fever franchise. There was yelling, one anonymous staffer confessed, voices raised, doors slammed. It wasn't just tension, it was war. What made it worse was the radio silence from the league itself. No official statement, no clarification, just a growing storm of speculation. And fans, they weren't having it. Especially those who shelled out hundreds, sometimes thousands, to watch Caitlin light up the court. One fan in Chicago posted a furious rant on TikTok. "I booked a whole trip. Hotel, flights, everything, and she's not even playing. I want my money back." That video ignited the match. Within hours, social media was ablaze with hashtags like #Caitlin Clark deserves better and #RefundWNBA. But things escalated when footage leaked of a private interaction between Caitlin and a senior WNBA official. In the grainy clip, you can see Caitlin looking visibly frustrated, gesturing wildly, while the official maintains a stern expression. Though the audio was muffled, lip readers claim she says, "I'm tired of being used. I'm not your marketing tool." That phrase, "I'm not your marketing tool," spread like wildfire. Suddenly, fans started connecting dots. Had the WNBA leaned heavily into Caitlyn's popularity while sidelining her concerns? Was she being pushed to perform? Without proper support, the theories ran wild. Some speculated that other veteran players were quietly resentful of her spotlight. Others believed the league was overscheduling her for media appearances and endorsement shoots, leaving her drained and isolated. "It's exploitation," tweeted one user. "They built a castle on her back and now it's crumbling." Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever organization tried to manage the narrative, releasing a vague statement that only fanned the flames. "We support all our players and are focused on team unity and season goals." No mention of Caitlyn, no clarity, just more questions. Then came the mass ticket drop. Within 24 hours of that statement, resale prices for upcoming Fever games plummeted by nearly 80%. Games that were previously sold out had entire rows suddenly available. And then came the refunds, thousands of them. Ticketing platforms reported unprecedented request volumes. One vendor even temporarily disabled refund requests, overwhelmed by the chaos. And fans weren't just angry, they were heartbroken. A mother in Iowa, tearfully speaking on a local news broadcast, said, "My daughter's only dream was to see Caitlin Clark play live. She saved up for months, and now it's like they ripped that joy away." The emotional toll was heavy. Children cried in stands as they clutched homemade signs that read "Go Caitlyn," only to learn their idol wouldn't be suiting up. Grown men and women shouted at arena staff demanding answers. Security had to be called to multiple venues to calm angry crowds. And amidst all this, Caitlin Clark remained silent. No tweets, no press appearances, just silence. Which only made the speculation worse. Where was she? Was she benched, injured, suspended, or had she walked away? Then came the next twist, a report from an unnamed source in the Fever front office that claimed Caitlyn had threatened to sit out the remainder of the season if her concerns weren't addressed. "She's not quitting," the source said, "but she's done being silent. And she's ready to take a stand." The internet erupted. #StandWithCaitlyn started trending within an hour. Celebrities, influencers, even NBA players chimed in. LeBron James posted a cryptic tweet, "Respect isn't optional." Diana Taurasi's camp, when asked for comment, simply said, "Now we'll see what we've been talking about." But others weren't so supportive. A few critics argued that Caitlyn was letting the fame get to her head. She's young, she's new, and now she thinks she runs the league. One analyst said during a heated segment, "This isn't how you earn respect in the pros." That statement sparked even more outrage. Fans defended Caitlyn fiercely, calling out the double standard, the pressure, the impossible expectations. "She's expected to carry a league and be humble." Nah, one fan tweeted, "Let her speak. Let her rest." And all the while, the WNBA's leadership fumbled its response. Rather than addressing the heart of the issue, they released another hollow statement. "We appreciate our fans' passion and are working hard to ensure an exciting season for all." But it was too late. The dam had burst. Players started speaking out. Caitlyn's former college teammate tweeted, "They drained her. Never gave her space to breathe." A current Fever player liked several tweets criticizing the organization's handling of the situation. And then, like a lightning bolt through the storm, Caitlyn reappeared. Not on ESPN, not in a press conference, but on Instagram Live. She looked tired but composed. Her voice was calm but firm. "I love this game," she began. "I love my team. But I won't be quiet when I feel like I'm being treated as a product instead of a person." She didn't name names, she didn't call out the league directly. But her message was clear, and it hit hard. "I've given everything to this sport," she continued. "And all I'm asking for is balance, fairness, humanity." The comments exploded with support. "We got your back. You deserve better." They can't silence the sun. The live ended after 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes changed everything. Media outlets picked it up within minutes. The WNBA was now officially in crisis mode. Internal memos leaked revealing that executives were scrambling to create a recovery plan. Emergency meetings were held, PR teams were brought in, but the damage was already done. Caitlyn's words echoed through every arena, every chat thread, every living room where a young girl once dreamed of following in her footsteps, and the league had no choice but to reckon with the storm they helped create. But just as things were beginning to shift in Caitlyn's favor, a new twist was about to be revealed, one that would blow the entire story wide open. That new twist came not from a press conference, not from an official source, but from a leaked email that hit the internet like a digital tsunami. It was posted anonymously to a popular sports forum, then screenshotted and shared by fan pages and even local news stations. The subject line: WNBA internal comms, Caitlin Clark marketing strategy. The body of the email detailed a months-old discussion between league officials and a marketing executive about how to maximize profit potential from Caitlyn's sudden surge in popularity. One disturbing line read, "Push Clark heavily. In media, she's the only storyline casual fans care about. Make her the face of the league, willing or not." Another stated, "Don't worry if it wears her down." That's what handlers are for. The public reaction was immediate and brutal. Fans and media alike were outraged. "So she was being exploited," read one tweet. "This confirms everything we suspected." Another post that gained over 3,000 likes in under an hour said, "They didn't see her as a player. They saw her as a paycheck." The outrage wasn't just online. Sponsors started pulling out of league campaigns. One major brand that had recently launched a campaign centered around Caitlyn quietly suspended the promotion, stating they were reevaluating their partnership with the league until these concerns are properly addressed. But the backlash didn't end there. A group of Caitlyn's biggest fan accounts announced a ticket blackout, encouraging fans across the country to boycott WNBA games until the league apologized and took action. Ticket sales took another nosedive. Merch refunds doubled. Entire seating sections at upcoming games were suddenly empty. Arena managers were forced to cut concessions staff, and then came the protests. That weekend, in 3 different cities, Chicago, Indianapolis, and Atlanta, groups of fans gathered outside stadiums holding signs that read, "Caitlyn deserves better. We want transparency. And WNBA, you played yourself." One fan, dressed head to toe in Clark merch, shouted into a megaphone, "You built this house on her name and now you're watching it collapse." Meanwhile, the rest of the league's players were caught in the crossfire. Some privately sympathized with Caitlyn, while others felt the chaos was distracting from their own careers. A few even expressed frustration. One veteran, who remained anonymous, told a reporter, "We've all worked hard to build this league. Caitlyn brought attention, yes, but this storm, it's taking oxygen from everyone else." That statement sparked a whole new layer of division. Fans began arguing. Some said Caitlyn was being unfairly treated. Others claimed she was disrupting the league's unity. It felt like the entire WNBA was split into those who supported Caitlyn's fight and those who saw it as an unnecessary rebellion. Then came the bombshell interview on a major primetime sports show. A former assistant coach who once worked with the Fever sat down for an exclusive interview. She confirmed what fans feared. Caitlyn voiced concerns about overexposure weeks ago. She said she asked for more rest time. She asked to skip non-essential media appearances, and every single time, she was ignored. The anchor asked, why was she ignored? The former coach didn't blink. Because the league saw dollar signs, not a young woman trying to find her footing. The silence in the studio after that was deafening. Clips from the interview went viral instantly. Sports networks began airing retrospectives on how Caitlyn's rise had been mishandled. Opinion pieces titled "The League That Burned Its Brightest Star" and Caitlin Clark and the High Cost of Fame began dominating the conversation. And still, the league said nothing, no apology, no clarification, just more silence. But behind that silence, panic. League executives were scrambling behind closed doors. Memos leaked showing discussions about potential damage control, rebuilding player trust, and even reconsidering certain leadership positions. It was clear the fallout was bigger than anticipated. Meanwhile, Caitlin remained composed. She made no more live videos, no tweets, no shade, just quiet strength. But that only made her supporters more vocal. She's too classy to drag them. So we'll do it for her, one fan posted. And they did. But then came another twist. An unexpected source stepped forward, Caitlin's father. He sat down for an emotional, unscheduled interview with a local news outlet and broke down in tears. People forget she's 22. She's still figuring it out, he said, wiping his eyes. She just wanted to play ball, that's all. She didn't ask for all this. She didn't ask to carry an entire league on her shoulders alone. The clip was heartbreaking. It humanized the story in a way no statement ever could. As a dad, it breaks me to see her hurting and still trying to smile through it. Suddenly, the chaos didn't just feel like a scandal, it felt like a personal wound. The fans doubled down. People who had never watched a WNBA game before began posting in support of Caitlin, sharing her college highlights, quoting her old interviews. One viral thread was titled, "From Hardwood Hero to Corporate Pawn, the Caitlin Clark Story." And as if all that wasn't enough, a final layer of drama exploded online when an ex-player, someone who had previously retired from the league, posted a cryptic tweet. "They did this before. Y'all just didn't see it then," fans demanded. Answers. The player later deleted the tweet. But screenshots lived on, feeding new conspiracy theories. Was Caitlin the first victim of this kind of exploitation, or just the first one to speak out? Had other stars been silenced, manipulated, pushed out without notice? Questions piled up, rage intensified, and ticket sales. They tanked even further. By the end of the week, some venues were offering tickets at $6 a piece, cheaper than a fast food meal. It was clear the WNBA wasn't just losing money. It was losing trust. And in the middle of it all stood Caitlin, quiet, powerful, unshaken. But while the public rallied to her side, while the league spun in circles, something even more surprising was about to surface. And it involved another WNBA superstar who'd been watching from the shadows all along. The superstar who had been silently watching from the shadows was none other than A'ja Wilson, and when she finally spoke, she shook the WNBA to its core. Fans were already on edge, desperate for answers, begging for players to weigh in. So when A'ja posted a single tweet, y'all don't even know half of it, the internet froze. Within 10 minutes, #IKnows and #half of what flooded social media. People started speculating wildly. Was A'ja confirming the league's mishandling of Caitlin? Was she hinting at a deeper conspiracy? Was this about player treatment, favoritism, or something even darker? The next day, A'ja went live on Instagram, and more than 700,000 people tuned in. Her tone was calm, but her words were electric. "Let me say this loud and clear," she began, eyes locked onto the screen. "I love this league. I've fought for this league. But I'm not gonna sit quiet while my sister is being dragged and disrespected like this. Y'all forgot Caitlin Clark is a human being before she's a headline." Fans were stunned. A'ja and Caitlin had never seemed especially close. On the court, they were competitors, off it, respectful but distant. But here she was, defending Caitlin not just as a teammate in the league but as a victim of something larger. "Y'all don't see what happens behind those locker room doors," A'ja continued. "The pressure, the expectations, the exhaustion. Caitlin's been carrying a mountain, and instead of helping her, the league built a throne on her back. Those words hit deep, and it didn't end there. This ain't just about Caitlyn, Aja added. This about all of us. Because if they can do this to her, they can do it to any of us. And I'm not okay with that. Viewers erupted in support. Real one, she said what needed to be said. This is how you use your platform, but not everyone was happy. Reportedly, within hours of her live stream, Aja received a call from a league executive advising her to choose her words more carefully. That detail was leaked by a source close to her team, and once again, the internet exploded. So now they trying to silence Aja too, one fan tweeted. Another wrote, the league didn't learn a damn thing, but the resistance had already begun. Other WNBA players started speaking out. Sabrina Ionescu posted a fire emoji. On Aja's video, Skylar Diggins-Smith tweeted, "Stand with truth. Stand with strength." Even Sue Bird posted a cryptic IG story saying, "Been there, done that, still healing." The player unity was growing and the league was starting to crack. Meanwhile, inside Caitlyn's camp, things were changing fast. Sources say her agent had begun serious re-evaluation of her media commitments and was considering renegotiating her contract to reflect the mental and emotional toll the situation had caused. Rumors even swirled that she was exploring international opportunities, maybe even a temporary move to play in Europe or Australia where the expectations weren't as toxic. That alone sent shockwaves through sports media if Caitlyn leaves. The WNBA even temporarily it's over, one ESPN analyst said. She is the ticket sales. She is the reason those stadiums are filled. Her absence would be catastrophic. And while executives scrambled, trying to extinguish the flames, another twist hit the internet. An internal video was leaked this time from a sponsor pitch meeting where executives could be heard discussing Caitlyn in deeply problematic terms. Clark is a media machine. One man is heard saying, "Keep her pretty, polished, and available. She's a walking brand. That's all that matters." Another voice chimes in, "She's our cash cow. Just make sure she doesn't get too political." That clip, less than 45 seconds long, destroyed what little credibility the WNBA's front office had left. The response was pure fire. Cash cow. Fans fumed. They don't even see her as a person. The backlash wasn't just from fans. Major advertisers began pulling campaigns altogether. A sneaker brand that had planned a co-branded release with the league postponed it indefinitely. Ticket brokers began offering massive discounts just to unload seats for upcoming games. Some venues started offering group packages for as low as $1 per ticket, less than the price of a bottle of water. The WNBA's public image was imploding. And yet, in the midst of it all, Caitlyn still hadn't returned to the court. She was spotted once leaving a yoga studio in Indianapolis, wearing oversized sunglasses and headphones, flanked by security. Cameras shouted questions. She said nothing. But her silence now carried the weight of an entire movement. And fans weren't waiting on the league anymore, they were building their own message. A viral petition titled "Protect Caitlyn Clark" reached over 1 million signatures in just 36 hours. A nationwide fan group organized Clark Out protest, asking supporters to wear all way to upcoming games in silent solidarity. And then came the moment nobody expected. Caitlyn's mother spoke publicly for the first time. In a televised interview, she said through tears, she's still that same little girl who used to shoot hoops in the driveway till it was dark. She didn't ask for this fame. She didn't ask to be the face of anything. She just wanted to play. The host asked if Caitlyn was okay. Her mom hesitated. She's trying to be, she said. But she's hurting and she's tired. The clip shattered everyone watching. Even critics of Caitlyn's media presence softened. The image of her not as a megastar, but as a daughter exhausted, pushed and pressured humanized her again. It reminded people what this was really about: not money, not clout, but a young woman who had been turned into a product without her consent and then punished for pushing back. Yet, while the conversation had turned deeply emotional, one final twist still hiding in the shadows was waiting to burst into the spotlight. A former WNBA commissioner, long retired, was about to re-enter the conversation with a truth so explosive it would leave even the most loyal fans questioning everything they thought they knew. The retired commissioner's name hadn't trended in years until now. Lisa Hammond, the former head of the WNBA who quietly stepped down nearly a decade ago, had remained out of the spotlight since her exit. But when she agreed to a rare interview with a national podcast, fans didn't expect the thunder she would bring. Dressed in a neutral blazer, with years of executive wisdom in her calm voice, Lisa didn't hold back. "I've watched what's happened with Caitlin Clark," she began. "And I can't stay quiet anymore, because this isn't new. It's just the first time the world is paying attention." The host, stunned by her candor, leaned in. "Are you saying the league has a history of exploiting its top talent?" Lisa nodded slowly. "Not just exploiting, silencing, ignoring, weaponizing the image of its players. Caitlin's just the latest example, but make no mistake, this system has been broken for years." Her words landed like a meteor. And what she said next, it was the final blow. "There were entire marketing meetings during my tenure where we were told to push specific players while discouraging others from expressing opinions. One of our brightest stars once said she was exhausted, and you know what was said behind her back?" "Good, that means it's working." The host looked horrified. "Are you saying Caitlin's not the first to be worn down for profits?" Lisa didn't blink. She's just the one with the loudest audience. And now the league is scared. That moment rewrote everything. Fans who had once questioned Caitlin's silence now understood it. The league's loyalists were now its critics. Headlines across the nation changed overnight. Former commissioner confirms exploitation. Caitlin Clark's struggle exposes industry-wide crisis. Lisa Hammond drops truth bomb on WNBA. Within 48 hours, the league was in emergency mode. An apology tour was rumored to be in the works. Multiple officials were put on administrative leave. And in a move that no one could have predicted, the WNBA commissioner finally broke her silence in a live press conference to Caitlin and to every player who has felt unseen and heard and unsupported. "We failed you," she admitted, her voice shaking. "This league was built to elevate women, not to drain them, and we're going to do better, starting now." It was a rare moment of accountability, but fans weren't quick to forgive. "Too little, too late," many posted. "Y'all only speaking now 'cause the receipts came out." Still, the league knew that if it wanted to survive, it needed Caitlin Clark more than ever, which is why they proposed a private meeting, a real sit-down between Caitlin, her representatives, and the WNBA's top brass. And according to insiders, Caitlin agreed. On one condition: full transparency, no cameras, no spin, no PR games, she reportedly told her team. "They're going to hear me, not the version they created, but the real me." The meeting lasted 3 hours, and while the exact details remain undisclosed, what followed suggested it had a profound impact. Because just days later, Caitlin made her first public appearance back on the court, not in a game, not in uniform, but standing at half court, mic in hand, addressing a sold-out crowd in Indiana that greeted her with a standing ovation that lasted 6 straight minutes. "I've been through a lot these past few weeks," she said, voice steady but filled with emotion. "And I want to thank every single one of you who reminded me who I am and why I started this journey in the first place." She paused as the crowd roared again. "I love this game, and I love this league, but love doesn't mean silence. It means accountability. It means respect. And from this moment forward, I'm playing on my terms." The stadium erupted. People cried, children held signs that read, "Thank you for being brave." Even players from the opposing team clapped. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a statement, a declaration that Caitlin Clark was no longer just a star. They had turned her into a symbol of resistance, of power, of reclaiming control. After that, everything began to shift. Ticket sales rebounded almost overnight, merchandise flew off shelves, fans who had sworn off the league came back not because the WNBA had earned their trust, but because Caitlin had. The documentary rights to her story were sold within a week. A major streaming platform announced a multi-part docuseries titled Clark, Built Not Bought. And most importantly, the league finally announced a comprehensive player advocacy program aimed at protecting athletes' mental health, fair media scheduling, and contractual transparency. But even with these reforms, the scars remained. Players who had once been afraid to speak were now emboldened. Anonymous accounts shared their own stories, some harrowing, some infuriating. And through it all, Caitlin stayed focused. She returned to playing with a new fire. Not just for championships, but for every player who had been told to shut up, smile, and perform, and the fans, they had never been louder. Every arena Caitlin visited turned into a movement, not just a game but a statement. A packed, chanting reminder that people weren't there just to see her shoot threes. They were there because she stood up, because she dared to say enough. And in doing so, she didn't just challenge a system. She changed it forever. And just like that, what started as a shocking collapse in ticket prices became one of the most emotionally charged, game-changing chapters in WNBA history. Caitlin Clark, once seen as just a basketball phenom, stood up against the system that tried to use her, manipulate her, and silence her, and in doing so, she sparked a movement bigger than basketball. The league trembled, fans revolted, officials scrambled, but through it all, one thing became undeniably clear. When the people rally behind the truth, even the biggest institutions have to listen. Caitlin didn't just demand respect, she forced it into the room and dared anyone to look away. So now we turn to you. What do you think about everything that's unfolded? Was Caitlin right to speak out? Did the league exploit her stardom? Are the apologies too little, too late, or is there still time to make things right? Do you believe the changes they're promising will actually stick? Or is this just another PR bandage on a broken system? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Below, we want all the tea, all the theories, and all your unfiltered takes. Are you hashtag Team Caitlin all the way? Or do you think there's more to the story than meets the eye? We're reading every single comment. If this video had you gasping, ranting, or ready to grab your jersey and protest, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more explosive sports drama, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a single twist in the chaos. Because if this saga taught us anything, it's that the game doesn't end at the buzzer. The drama lives on long after the final whistle. Stay watching, stay questioning, and stay loud because the story is far from over.